MGT does not substitute for medical, financial, or legal advice.
And welcome to MGT. I'm Monique.
And I'm Lainey, and we have the cheat codes to the simulation.
Today we have My Maria 777 coming onto the show.
And she is our favorite Scorpio, formerly anonymous lawyer, who honestly is probably the reason, not probably, actually the reason why we reconnected recently. She is the queen of everything is a psyop, simulation theory. She introduced me to the terms NPC and loosh.
I just don't know that we're at a place where the world can change without some catastrophic event.
But does it have to be catastrophic?
I don't mean that in a way that like people are dying, but how are you going to take down that war machine?
Yes.
Winning at this point is moving to Montana and living off the grid.
Absolutely.
There's a big war with every generation, and that's how the rich get richer and the fat get fatter. You're trying to play the game long enough to leave the game.
Right.
And they're telling us what they're doing. Soft disclosure is real.
100%. Get out of the 3D.
So I'm aware of the game. I see the game. It could take me years to get to the place monetarily.
You don't want to play the game anymore. You wish to leave the game. You work until your late 60s and you have a good 15 years when your body is breaking down, you're losing your mind, and you've acquired this money for what? Money makes the world go round. If I get to this certain threshold, then I can step away from the game, buy my ranch in Montana, create a compound, live with my family, live off the grid, travel the world, and do all these things. What level of wealth is that for you?
Like, I am such a huge fangirl. I'm going to have to try and keep my shit together because I am obsessed with her, and we are so excited that she's on the show with us today. So welcome.
Amazing. How are you going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for coming on.
We are still so excited. I'm going to try and put my fangirl away. And be a normal human.
Thank you.
Love it.
We were both just so excited because, like, honestly, I have to say, if there was like a single reason why this podcast exists, it's like literally you. Because like I would repost your I like repost all the stuff that like just blew my mind daily. And then like Mon would like, it was like the birds aren't real one. And we would like be getting stalked by the birds like every day. That was literally why we reconnected after like 5 years.
Yeah, it was.
That's amazing. So amazing. Thank you.
So thank you.
Kind of like freaks me out, but I love it.
I'm like,
no,
we're really normal. I promise.
No, not you guys. No, just that like I did that. That's it's just weird sometimes.
Oh, and actually, now you're here.
Yeah, welcome. Maybe we should tell the listeners why the birds are like about the birds aren't real.
Yes.
Things.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Because you don't, and I'll say it again, but like you don't. Once you get it, like you get it. It's the whole main thing.
If you know,
everyone
you know.
Right. If you know, you know.
Oh, so good. I was actually like woke up this morning at like 4:30, like made my coffee, the moon's still out, and there's fucking birds at my door. I was like, of course you're here. Hi.
Welcome, just checking in, aren't you?
Yeah, it's so fucking, it was like pitch black and I was like, what are you doing?
But yeah, we're so excited to have you on today. We'd love to hear your journey, like how you got here, why you have so many accounts deleted, just everything, and like can just flow.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. You guys are beautiful, I just have to say.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice.
Tell me more. You really are like my favorite Scorpio. I'm like even more obsessed with you now. You told me I was pretty.
No, you guys are beautiful. I love a hot girl in like the smart space, you know?
Oh, wait, let me just get real like for a second. There we go.
Oh.
Is that better?
I love it. I love it. So I guess for like everyone that doesn't know, you were formerly, I guess, anonymous. So tell us about your journey through everything that's happened over the since 2018, right? Or 17?
Right. No, it was 2018. I made my first account, and I'm an attorney by trade. And I was on my personal account, kind of like diving into these rabbit holes. And you know what? We just like think so highly of ourselves. Like once I talk about this hypothetical out loud, I think it sounds so ridiculous. But at the time, I was worried that the potential client or the potential opposing counsel or somebody was on my page looking at the people that I followed, analyzing them, and making some sort of determination in their head. When I actually say that out loud, I think it sounds fucking ludicrous. Who cares about me? I'm not that cool. But at the time, I thought, okay, I'm going to make this account and it's just going to be like my Finsta. I feel like celebrity Finstas were coming out at that time. And I honestly, I have no fucking idea why I chose the name that I did, why I chose the numbers that I did. Like now, after the fact, it has so much weird significance and like so many synchronicities in it. But at the time, I was just flying by the seat of my pants like I normally do. And I made this account just so I could follow people in this kind of like underground counterculture type of way. And the more that I read about it, Q was so focused. I was really into Q at the time. And Q was so focused on the accountability back then and about draining the swamp and everyone getting arrested. And there's so many sealed indictments. And so much of the subject matter is kind of inextricably intertwined with the law. And so I was just following people, just consuming content. And I was just like, this is bullshit. This is wrong. This is fake. Like, this is not a real indictment. I was just seeing so much on Instagram that I thought, like, nobody knows what they're talking about. Like, this is just it was such a new field, but you could already tell that people just like wanted the likes and wanted the interaction. Okay. So they would post anything, you know, like Hillary Clinton's getting arrested today, like rumor on the street. Like that's such bullshit, such bullshit. So I just decided, you know, I'm going to post some things. I'm going to put my stamp of approval on it. I'm going to explain it. And I used to really, really take things and like break them down and like write all over them and try to explain things and use hashtags. And it was cool. And people started following me and I got some interaction, and it was nothing back then. Like I had a friend who we raced at one point to see like who could get to 2,000 followers first. And it took months. And we were so humble about it.
Who won?
He won because he bought like 800 followers back. Like it was
naughty. You're only cheating yourself.
Right, exactly. But yeah, it just continued, and I was anonymous because again, this was my Finsta, and I picked the picture of Michelle Pfeiffer in Scarface when she's Elvira, and I just thought like, okay, this is just gonna be my, like, it wasn't even a persona at first. It was just like something to fill the void, and it just like turned into this whole thing.
So huge. It's just like, for me, I just was always like, I'm a bit of an, like, I always think that I'm a know-it-all, but like sometimes like the shit that you post, I'm always like, okay, fuck me up. Like every day, fuck me up. Like it's literally what it is every day. It's like, you blow my mind.
When somebody sends me that in a message when they're like, you just fucked me up, honestly, it's the best. Like, all I want to do is like rock your world a little bit. Like I'm not here to really change your mind.
You do.
I just want you to be like, what just the fuck did that bitch just talk about?
Just like shit I've never like can't even like comprehend. Like, it's just insane. So like, I guess like, have you always like thought like that? Like even as a child, like, did you think not crazy, but like, things that are out of the box?
Yeah, I think I just always thought outside the box. I was always like, I say this example sometimes. We used to have like a spirit week. Do you remember that or something like that in elementary school? And I made a shirt one time that said "Down with the establishment." Like, this was just that was like my mindset. I was in middle school when I made that.
I love it.
You were destined to this path.
But I liked like when I was in elementary school, I can read really fast. So like when the Harry Potter books came out, like I would get them that day and I would finish them that day. So I was always like trying to find new things to read. And I used to read things that like the Catholic school wanted to like kick me out about. It's just wild stuff. And it was just all me, like nobody was fostering this, if you will,
I love it. It's so.
I had access to the internet at a very young age. That probably contributed to a great deal of this.
I'm like, and it shows. No, I fucking love it.
And here I am still on the internet.
So fun though. There's so many fun things on there. Yeah, so I guess like was there like a pivotal moment where you woke up, or so to speak, or was there trauma involved? Was it like
oh fuck, there's trauma involved in everything.
I just went straight in there, sorry.
Yeah. What's your trauma? Please tell the world.
I look at a great deal of my 20s and I was such an NPC. So
my favorite term.
I know, right? So I think
maybe you could never be an NPC.
I think there are people who are actually real bona fide NPCs, but then I also think an NPC can be like a mindset. And I don't really know what the fuck I was doing in my 20s, but I guess I had like had a major relationship, kind of two major relationship breakdowns, excuse me, in like the 2018, 2019, 2020 timeline. So while I've been doing all of this, and I think instead of dealing with like any of that trauma or emotions, I was just like, okay, let's grow this. Let's just come over here. But I went through like a major kind of like esoteric universe, way deep into like the world could be a simulation in 2020. But I've always thought like very alternatively.
That's like my favorite, like I think there was like one day you posted, because like obviously we've heard about like, normal Earth that they tell us about, and then there's like that flat Earth. Like, do you think that's a psyop? Or are you like a flat Earth prescribed, hollow Earth? But then you posted that one day about it rendering, and I was like, oh, okay, fuck me up. Like, that's just.
Yes. I was going to say, no, I believe in the linear plane, but.
Okay.
I think they're all possible at the same time. I think we're on this linear plane. We're rendering as we go. If you ask the question, if a tree falls, does anyone hear it? And like, I think the cute kind of like, you think you're woke type of thing to say these days would be like, yeah, well, only if there's like an ear to hear it, because like everything's a vibration, blah, blah, blah bullshit. But I think that like that only exists if you're thinking about it. And
I fucking love you. You're amazing already.
Which is why like I'd never come across that rendering thing before, and I was like, holy fuck, like it could be that, like, because collective consciousness, right? So yeah, I was like fucked up that day. I read that. Maybe still.
I feel like at this point, like literally anything is possible. Do you know what I mean? Like anything could happen. I'd be like, I'm fucking not surprised.
For the entry levels at home as well, should we explain what an NPC is? Because it's kind of like our favorite term to like throw around so that we're not offensive.
But like also offensive.
Also offensive.
Everyone we've ever called an NPC is going to be like, oh.
You don't mean it. No.
No, you most definitely do mean it. Do you want me to explain?
No.
So an NPC is what I call a non-player character. It is I feel like this subject matter is almost kind of trickling down on TikTok right now. A lot of people are talking about, oh, I would be the main character or I would be the side character, I feel like. But an NPC is a non-soulless being, a non-entity, basically just like a meat suit, like if you were playing GTA right now and you were walking down the street, there would be all of these characters there that support the storyline, and they're not the main character. So
in the background, being hive
yes.
mind. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, have you ever seen your neighbor buy groceries?
Right, exactly. No, buy groceries and bring them in.
And bring
mostly.
them in, yeah.
But it's like the Mr. Smith effect. If for a Matrix reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely know a few. And I'm like, oh, honey, sweetie, when you gonna realize? Never.
Never. I'm kind of extreme though. I think 90 or 95% of people are NPCs or not real.
That's so wild.
That's a huge number.
Yeah. It's so funny. My brother and I were like walking on the beach the other day and we're like, do you reckon mum and dad are? We're just like, no, surely not. Like we're just like trying to figure it out. But do you think that people can like come back for like I think that, I guess, I don't know if I was ever like, I had my NPC moments, like definitely, like I was so like not awake even though I thought I was awake. Like I thought I was like woke, but I really wasn't until sort of recently when I had like all my moments sort of just connect all the dots together.
That's why in my opinion, I think there are actual NPCs, like actual non-soulless entities, but then I think it's also this mindset. So I think for somebody like you and me, okay, we chose to come down here. This is a timeline. We have a soul contract. We're supposed to do X, Y, and Z. And so we are an NPC until we're not, I think, in that mindset. But so I think there are some people that aren't recoverable, and because I don't think they're really people. And then I think there's some people that are recoverable, and whether or not they make it in this lifetime is up to them.
So wild. It's still like, yeah, even to this day, like I'll be walking around, I'm like, are you one? Are you one?
I feel like it's getting more and more obvious though. Like if you literally do anything against the grain, it will come to the surface pretty quickly, whether they're an NPC or not, because they literally designed to fight against you.
Yeah.
So it could be any little thing, like, you know, and it's just very, very obvious. And you're like, oh, you're an NPC. Yeah, I don't associate with NPCs. Sorry.
I did lose my shit the other day when I saw that there was a movie though. I was like, oh, it's NPC time. How fun.
Yeah.
Like, let's move on to a different
That
story.
Free Guy movie. I fucking went and watched that because my partner was like, do you want to go to the movies? And I was like, yeah. Like, all right. So it was actually, I was like this the whole time because it was the whole storyline was about a simulation. And inside of like this video game simulation, they didn't know they were NPCs, but there was this one guy that broke out of the algorithm. So he was an NPC, and then he like obviously like woke up.
So it's a documentary.
Yeah, it's pretty much documentary,
Right.
but it was just so many things in there. And I was like, but there was one thing in there that I literally couldn't let go of. And I feel like I might be onto something. Lanny's laughing because I've already been like on the phone to her. So they say in one part of it, something about like the reflection. So like in this movie, the reflection, you can see like this paradise sort of world. And I'm like, so, and you know how obviously they're like, the veil's so thin, just lift up the veil. Everything is right there. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, what about the veil? Like our language is representing like the reflection. And then I went into like a whole fucking rabbit hole that I created for myself. There's no information online like this, but I was thinking, yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go.
You go.
There, I can't quote it well, but there is a theory that, and I think maybe it's based on the Phoenicians, that the simulated universe was just created by language itself. And I can't remember the exact theory, but you're on to something with it.
Yeah, I see. I don't know. I called my mum and was like going like ham to her about it. And then I told my partner and he's like, that's a really interesting theory, Monique. And I don't really know what to say to you. So when I was having all these like thoughts all in one go, it happened because I was sitting in my lounge room. It was nighttime. There was candles going and I've got a glass top coffee table, and the way that I was sitting, the angle, like the reflection of the glass top coffee table was exactly the same underneath. Like you literally couldn't tell what was my lounge room and what was just the reflection. And I was like, and then I looked at the time and it was 8:18, so like mirrored. And then I literally had into my mind like the infinity symbol. You know, we think it like means eternity, but what about if it just means like two wells reflected?
The mirror.
And then I was like, we're living in a reflection. And then I went crazy and called Lainey. I was like, what do you think? And she was like, yeah, it's an interesting one, babe.
Mirrors are portals though. They are like, you know.
Yeah.
I think mirrors are so interesting. I like to think that like the mirror is the mirror, and like, does it lie to you? Like that everyone knows what you look like except for yourself. Like you're the only one that's really never seen what you look like from someone else's perspective. So like,
That trips me out all the time.
What if the mirror doesn't really show you what you look like at all?
No, but like that is like I've like had moments all through my life where I'm like looking at myself in the mirror. I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like
I do that all the time. I don't recognize myself lately. That's where I'm at. I'm like,
I've like looked in the mirror lately and I feel like my face is changing. Like I look real close into the mirror. I'm like, my eyes look different. Like, I'm like, do my eyes look different? My mum, she's like, yeah, sort of. Like, I'm like, whoa.
But then like, what if you just respawn into a different timeline where you just look slightly different?
Oh,
cannot.
keep going, keep going.
No, my friend James and I have this theory we were talking about all the time that, you know, when you're driving and you just kind of drift off and then you realize maybe like 20 minutes have passed or 10 minutes have passed, whatever it is, you're just like, what the hell was I doing?
Every day.
Do you ever wonder if you actually have died and then you respawned like right to where you would have been in like a separate timeline, like a lateral step over?
Oh my God.
And like that's why you don't have any recollection of that time.
Yeah.
It's just like it's one of those timelines that's literally like maybe like 99.8% different than like the one you were just in, and you just like step over into that and keep going.
I swear, every day. Have you had many near deaths or like?
No, I've never had a near death experience, but like I was so weird as a child. I would tell my mom like I would see things that weren't there. Like at one point we lived on this property that like also had like people buried on it. And
Oh wow.
I like saw a ghost at one point. Like I haven't had a near death experience, but I have had a lot of weird experiences.
Do you know your full chart? Like I know you're a Scorpio and they're very, very connected with like the occult. Like they know shit.
I'm a Cancer rising, so I have a lot of water. And then I have my moon's in Sagittarius, and I have a stellium in Sagittarius and a stellium in Scorpio.
Oh, that makes so much sense, babes. Like that's why everything like literally I'm like, oh my God, everything makes sense now. That's why
I love that.
that's why you're a lawyer. Like, what do you specialize in? And also what made you decide that you were going to be formally anonymous, like come out, I guess, out of the anonymous closet?
Oh, I got doxxed in April. Mm-hmm. So, yes. There's a little group on the internet that does not like me, that are in the movement, and they've always given me shit, but it's so fucking stupid. I always preach, like, think objectively, take a step back, like, don't ever tie yourself to an emotional outcome. Like, anything is possible. And there's a whole Q group that is so tied up in Q and so tied up in Trump saving the day. And I wasn't even talking about my own opinion. I was just resuscitating an opinion of Ron Watkins. And they crucified me for it They figured out what my name was. They posted pictures of me and my mom. They were talking all of this shit. And I freaked out and like took everything offline for like a week. And I was just like, this is a hobby for me, you know, like this is literally like, I don't make money off of this. I'd love to make money off of this. Still trying to fucking figure that out. But like, you guys, I'm not that cool, you know, like I'm literally like
no, you are.
30
You are,
something,
babe.
like hanging out in Nashville. These are just this is my profile with my thoughts. Okay. And you're going to dox me because of my thoughts.
That's so fucking
wild.
It's also
Sorry,
like, we're
my
all on
dog's
the
streaming.
same like truth aside, like, you know what I mean? Like we're all trying to figure out the truth and like,
well, it's just like, it's like the fucking Gestapo never stops. Like these people think that they're woke and they've taken all these red pills. And then all I do is present a possibility that your theory could be incorrect. And it's like,
everyone's like loses their shit because their paradigm. I don't want to like their paradigm shattering.
I personally fucking love that when someone can do that for me. Do you know what I mean? Like shatter it so I can re-see it in a different way. I fucking love that. Like it's my favorite thing. But it's very rare to have people to be able to do that as well. What'd you say?
I just go cry for a little while.
Yeah, I like literally just sit there like, whoa, but I like that kind of shit. Yeah.
Well, law school is really great about, they teach you the Socratic method. And so like, you got to be able to argue one side of something and then stop and pivot and argue the other side and be able to understand like what your weaknesses are on both sides. So like, I don't emotionally attach myself to literally anything anymore. First off, going back to the whole language thing, I think we become our emotions and that fucks us up in a whole other traumatic way. But anything is possible. Like we literally live in a holograph, like projected universe, and we're gonna get upset whether or not Q is AI and like Trump's actually a Jesuit. Like there's a lot more going on here. Okay.
To be honest with you, like where I live, everyone's still on the Corona timeline. I'm like, oh fuck me. Like you have so much more to like unpack. Like move on.
Right? I think people just need
least
something
of
to
our
grasp
worries.
onto.
Seriously.
You know, like they just need something to grasp onto. They just need something to hold on to, like positive or negative. Like they just need something to be stable, and like nothing is stable right now. And I think that's what the scary part is for people, is that everything is shifting, everything is crumbling like right in front of their eyes, like whether it would be like Trump's a good guy or a bad guy or whatever. Like they just need something to grasp onto.
I feel like the Trump being a Jesuit thing really made me sad actually. For 3 whole days I was like, oh fuck. Like spiraled for like a few days. Like what are your thoughts on that at the moment? Like where are you oscillating between?
Okay, politics is theater. So there is no like left versus right or blue versus red. Like you got to take a step back. I have to take a step back from that.
Yeah,
Trump
same.
to me is just the other side of the same coin. He is a gray hat in my opinion. I don't think he's bad or good. I think he's just an opportunist. And there was a character that needed to be cast, and he fit into that, and he had probably been groomed for that for some time. There were so many things he could have done but did not do. And I think at the end of the day, there were an intense number of factions behind him that he kind of just like he did what he needed to do and he got out. Like the vaccine bullshit from him, I cannot take right now. And like the Trump apologists that are just like, oh, trust the plan. Like there's a reason why he's financially interested in this and promoting it. Like it doesn't mean what it means. I'm so over that timeline and that bullshit. Like show me results or just shut the fuck up at this point. Nobody's coming to save the day. So I think I have a lot of thoughts on Q, but like I love the quantum of Q that like connected people like me and you and reconnected you guys in a way that might not have ever happened but for the internet. So some of the things were really great, but it's just been a hurry up and wait situation. And here we are, 4 years later from the beginning of Q, and we're still making excuses for why something hasn't happened yet. And it's just like, all of you stand up and just go do something.
Yeah. For me, I oscillate between I definitely, have a strong connection to source. And I think that's what's been bastardized in the media, the whole Q thing. And people don't even understand what it's really about and the beauty of it. And it's actually so fucking beautiful if you really understand it. But yeah, I guess this timeline just seems to be dragging, and it's I have no attachment to anything either. I'm just trying to keep my shit together while being locked up in Melbourne for 2 years, I'm oh, this is my second year in jail. Cute for me. We got an announcement yesterday. I was like, why do I feel so psychotic today? Out of nowhere, just started feeling the collective. And I was like, oh, Dan Andrews made an announcement. We're all locked up for another month. It's just insane, how, people want to turn their back on the collective consciousness. And I guess for people that don't experience it, it is fucking crazy. I hate myself sometimes when I speak out loud. It's oh, you've lost your shit. But unless you experience it firsthand, you just don't realize what, just because you can't do it doesn't mean no one else can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, you go, honey. Go.
No, I think there's a lot more to say about the electromagnetism of the world. And I think the average NPC, Joe, plebe, whatever you want to call them, things happen to them and they don't consider why they've happened, or they don't connect them to anything. But for example, not this last week, but the week before, I was so drag-assing. I felt so terrible. I felt so heavy. And at first I was like, I don't really think that they care what I'm feeling. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put it out there. Sometimes I have all these internal battles about what I should post and what I shouldn't post. But I was like, no, I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to see if anybody else feels weird. And I had thousands of people be like, oh my gosh, we feel weird. The energy feels off. What's going on?
I saw that post.
and I just
huge CMEs that week as well.
It's a weird conversation. All of these are weird conversations. And but again, everything to me, we live our lives all based on perception. I worry about my perception of somebody else's perception of me, which is essentially just the perception of myself. But we live our whole lives based on what we think other people might be thinking about us.
It's so true though.
And if we could just get past that kind of, what is weird, what is not weird, and just be like, you know what? I feel really funny today, and my stomach hurts, and this happened, and my head hurts, and could there be some external variable in the world that's affecting this? That's not really that weird of a conversation.
We're so huge on that. I'm the energy girl. So any kind of blast or any kind of space weather coming in, I feel it straight away. And it's just so wild because my body will do this thing where I have to go eat and ground, and then I'll have to lie down and or even just I can feel when the collective is really anxiety as well. And I'll check my my app and there'll be no blast there, and it's oh, maybe it's coming, but then it's oh no, yesterday Dan Andrews made an announcement. I was oh, that's why everyone's going psycho and I feel psycho. It's just insane. Once you start taking when you're so connected to your body and yourself, and you can actually put everything down to all the tiny changes. It's but yeah, a lot of people just are not, what's the word? I think they're just so either cognitive dissonance to they've been trained to think that everything's a coincidence versus
synchronicities.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I mean, it's so fucking obvious that there is an external force that is like leading, like not just the collective, but absolutely everyone. Like in just the last week, just talking to people that I know that believe in this shit and don't believe in this shit, like everyone feels like the days are going like that. Like you literally wake up and you blink and it's nighttime. So there's something to do with time at the moment. Time is speeding up. There's not enough time right now. And what you achieve in a day now would be what you usually achieved in maybe 2 hours. So, and this is me speaking to so many different people, like I said, that believe it or don't believe it. And they're all saying the same thing. I'm like, okay. So it's not just the collective, it's actually more than that. So there is something that's happening with time. You know, time's not real, but there's something happening with that.
That was
I
the other.
completely agree with the time. I love reading about that shit. I love reading about the people that like do the experiments with like setting clocks up for a year and seeing that like we've lost like 16 minutes in a year, something like that.
That's wild.
I completely agree. Time is, and it's funny that you say that like time isn't real. Everything is happening at one time, but because we created time, we expect it to like act within these like the parameters in which we've created. And I completely agree. I think the days feel like they're so sped up. It still feels like March 2020 to me. You know, like these last 18 months now at this point. Feel like how is it possible that we've been doing COVID for 2 years?
Exactly. But this is like where I feel like, okay, so we're doing it for 18 months, but is there some sort of external force that is helping us get through this quicker? So we're like, in our mind, it's been 18 months, on paper, it's been 18 months, but the feeling, honestly, how long does it feel? Because it doesn't feel like fucking 18 months. It feels like a few months. Do you know what I mean? So if is there something that's helping us like get through this timeline quicker, but like obviously on paper, and then we like say, oh, it's been 18 months, it feels like a lifetime. But really, if you're being honest with yourself inside, you're like, it doesn't feel like that.
I have no concept of time. I'm an artist. I struggle with time anyway. I'm like, what? Like, where am I? I can like lose hours. Like I'll just like wake up and I'm like, oh shit. It's like 6 hours later. It's like been sitting in my car for 6 hours.
Yeah.
I just don't know how people do it. I don't have kids. I don't have a significant other, and I get home and by the time I blink, it's like 8 o'clock. And I'm just like, how are people taking care of children?
I feel the same way about work. Like I haven't worked basically in 18 months because they've shut down like all the photo shoots. So like I look at you and I'll be like, how did she do a whole day's worth of work? The internet's so busy. Like,
So busy.
Oh shit. No, God. I haven't stopped working.
do you sleep?
Not much. In the last 2 weeks, I've slept so much more. But I literally, like, if I get up from my desk to walk to the bathroom, I am on my phone. I am like consuming. I'm trying to find something to post. That's what I love and hate about what we do here. I would love to like be with a man, like looking at the mountains, you know, not on my phone. But until I get there, I'm literally just like, all I do is consume.
How is the mating game at the moment?
Fucking miserable. I can tell you war stories. Men in their 30s are so dramatic. I think I'm a fucking unicorn and I'm just like, I can't even get laid. It's awful.
Celibacy is like the new thing though. I've been celibate for a while now. Makes you more psychic, like less trauma to consume, you know. It's a vibe.
I couldn't even imagine being fucking single and trying to sleep with people right now. Like, I think I would be celibate too, in all honesty, because like, fuck that shit. Like transmuting other people's traumas. I'm like, honey, I'm just trying to get through the fucking day. Like, no thanks.
I have to ask people now all the time, like, are you vaccinated? They're like, proudly like, yeah, just cut my second shot. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to talk to you.
Delete.
Bye.
I actually really enjoy those posts.
Yeah, so do I. It makes me laugh. It's great.
I love your commitment to it. I'm just like literally a hermit. I'm like, I don't even like hanging out with people at the moment, let alone trying to like date them and have them inside me. I'm like, nope.
Fuck no.
I just want to find one that I can then be like, all right, a little time now and maybe like a little time next week, you know, but it's a really rough world out there right now.
It really is. It's so grim. My mother's like, are you ever going to get married? Why can't you just settle? I'm like, everything's fine, Mom. Everything's fine.
I'm not
No,
settling
you've got
down
work to
till I
do.
find like the creme de la creme. So I'm literally going through every frog in America right now, it seems.
You're not here to fuck spiders. You want your prince.
Yeah. Have you not found people through the movement?
Ooh, hot take. There are a lot of men. I've not found a lot of what I find attractive men out there. I don't know if those are all idiots, but
What's your attractive man? Paint a picture for us. I want to know.
Well, this is actually what you need to do. You need to write the list and like call him in like the high priestess that you are. You know, like
Exactly.
3D shit. Fucking summons that man in. Don't leave him.
a little spell.
Yeah.
Let's see. I just want somebody like tall, dark, and handsome. Gotta be. See, this is such a different world for me because I've been trying to date this whole time, but now I'm out and like Maria is out and I'm willing to talk about her and like what she is and what she's about. And so I don't know, like I got to find somebody who's down with me talking about how fake the world is and like this is a simulation all the time. Like, who am I going to meet where I can talk about 47 and like how it haunts me? And I'm just going to be like 47.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
As after you started posting the 47, I fucking see 47 like hundreds of times a day. Hundreds. Just like add it to the million other sinks.
Right? So like, where is that man? Who is that man? That's like, I intimidate men a lot, or so I'm told. So I haven't gotten a lot of great DMs.
I think it's because you've got your shit together, you know, and people want someone to save. Like, well, men, sorry, I should say, want a woman that they can save, that they can look after. And because you can already look after yourself, that gets rid of a lot of men. Do you know what I mean? But there is 100% someone out there for sure. Like, there's men waiting for someone to be fucking awake, you know? Maybe your dream man's like looking at 47 right now and he's like, my Maria's my chick. Slide into her DMs.
My theory is though, it's like the great fucking awakening, right? So like we're on our missions at the moment. We're not allowed to like have our love.
Oh, exactly. The universe has told me, no, bitch. No. You have far more things to do than have sex in this lifetime.
You gotta save the fucking people first, and then you can like have your happy ever after. So like that's what I'm holding on to. Well, like we've just got to wake up. I was like, guys, can you just like wake up so that we can like get
laid?
So sometimes I just like look around. I'm like, okay, universe, like I see you. Like, touche.
Yeah.
We'll meet again.
I wonder, like, do you believe in like the concept of like twin flames?
I used to have a very limited view on soulmates. I've expanded that a lot in the last couple of years. So I think we have a multitude of soulmates, and they can be platonic and romantic and different connections. I think a twin flame perhaps exists, but I don't do a lot of like, I used to have a bad relationship where we were like, oh my God, like we're twin flames. Clearly we were not. So ever since then, I'm just kind of like, I'm waiting for that motherfucker to show up and then I'll talk about it.
Oh, he's coming. He's probably just like trying to fucking save the world on his like grid line, you know?
Right.
Trying to wake up the NPCs, babes.
Speaking of grid lines, have you guys ever done your astrocartography?
Yes. Fucking wild. Like
Yes.
when I only discovered that, like I think last year maybe, when I was trying to get out of jail, which I'm still trying to get out of. I'm like, where should I move to? Anywhere but here. But like, where's yours?
Oh, it's I mean, I have
Or optimal.
I haven't looked at it in a while, but it has a lot of like stuff in South America that like if I lived there, that like this is where my business would flourish and shit like that.
Mine's New Mexico.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But like so like going to like Banff, Canada and like Montana like changed me, and like I have lines that like go through both of those places. It's
Wow.
I want to find somebody who can do me like a whole reading on it.
Yeah, it's very intense, and like all the crossovers and stuff, and how like different things, like you experience different things in different areas depending on what lines cross over. But
I think it's wild that you said South America, because I have this theory that like it's like New Earth portal, and all the spiritual people are like, get me over their stats so that we're safe from all these.
Well, I mean, Hitler went down there for a reason, right?
oh my God, yes.
If Hitler's even real.
Like so many.
I've been saying for a while that I want to see.
That was my fuck me up face. You go.
Just fuck me up.
Yeah.
No. What was I saying? I've been saying for a while I just want to go climb some ruins somewhere. So I've been like, if only the world could open up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's so funny because like my brother's like, I'm ready. Even this morning he sent me a text message. He's like, I'm ready to go. Let's just go. Let's just go to Mexico.
Bless your brother, honestly.
But I just like, what are your thoughts on like the Stargates and stuff?
Oh, I love that shit. I love
Talk to me.
Well, you know, I think the wars in the Middle East were really about the Stargates. I think Saddam and Gaddafi each had, well, you know, there's that whole argument that there was some kind of like treaty in place, almost maybe perhaps the Antarctic Treaty, that we all had Stargate technology, and it was like a, how does that saying go? Mutually assured destruction, in the sense that if we all had a piece of it, nobody could put it together. And then the United States hears rumblings that Saddam and Gaddafi have it. So that's why we create the war in Afghanistan, to go over there and like steal lithium and alien technology. That leads into a discussion about the yellow cube. Have you heard about the yellow cube?
No.
I kind of, but tell us more. Tell me more.
Okay, so the yellow cube is almost like a form of Project Looking Glass, but it's supposed to be this like alien technology, and it's where the name for the yellow pages comes from, because it's this all encompassing cube of information, and it opens up, and so whoever's holding it interacts with you on an individual basis, and it shows you the probability of like all of the outcomes that are likely to happen. But as you like emote, if you react emotionally, then it reacts emotionally to you. But the rumor goes is that Hillary had one of these yellow cubes, and that in every iteration, it told her that she was winning the presidency. So when Q said they never thought she was going to lose, it's because the alien technology told her she was never going to lose. And that's
so
why
what
they
the
were
fuck
so
happened
surprised.
there? Who?
Maybe some Project Looking Glass shit. But yes, Stargates, I think,
Fucking love
are
that.
so very interesting. And I think that's how we're traveling to the parallels, back and forth. But like, there's that rumor that we reverse engineered some alien tech. I can't remember when and where it was, sometime in like the 70s or 80s, I think.
Yeah,
Or maybe it was before that, where like supposedly like a warship got stuck in one of them. Do you remember that story?
vaguely.
that they were like sending a warship through the portal, and that people started to jump off before they had like gone through, and then were literally stuck in like the metal of the like coming out of like crazy shit. But yeah, no, love a portal, love a Stargate.
Same.
Love a parallel.
I'm ready for that. Yeah, I'm really ready for that timeline, to be honest. I'm like, guys, let's move on. Like,
I know.
Oh,
It's dragging.
We're never gonna know that shit out loud.
say it again.
I said we're never gonna know that stuff for real out loud.
I don't know. I reckon maybe eventually down the track.
Oh, I mean, I hope so. But
no, there has to come a time like where everything, the truth, everything comes out. You know, there has to be that.
Do you think that, like, you know how like everyone's always like full D class is coming? Like, do you see it, or like?
No, that will never ever happen.
Oh.
That's the black pill. If you want to take the black pill for a moment, the actual type of swamp draining and accountability and all the things that like Q talks about and like our movement talks about, without some sort of huge defining one moment event, A, change is highly unlikely to ever occur, but B, should it actually occur, it will take decades to accomplish what we would want to accomplish. And that's making the assumption that we have the ability to participate in an actual fair election, which is impossible either. So full disclosure happening? No. I mean, if the architects stay in place the way they are now, we're always going to be spoon-fed information at the most opportune time that they think for us. So I think full disclosure is a psyop. And I think probably true actual effective change is a psyop as well.
I'm sad.
That's so sad. That's actually...
3 days now.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna go.
Well, that's what, like, I talk a lot about, like, I love the system of democracy and like what the republic should be. I think from like a legal perspective, I don't know that there's a better way to like balance a government, like with checks and balances and that type of thing. So like if the government worked the way it should work on its face, it would be great. But again, another problem I think that our movement assumes is that we think if we drain the swamp and we get rid of the deep state, like that's it, we're going to live in perpetuity and we're going to be so happy. But there will always be an enemy. Like there's always going to be somebody against us, always somebody else who wants to be in power.
Always.
So it's not like just this kind of like one event, you know?
Yeah. I have I wonder, have you, I've noticed lately a lot of people are sort of exploring the like common law versus law of the land versus like commerce law. Is like as a lawyer, like what do you see merit in going down that route?
So like all countries observe common law. Common law traditionally comes from England, and it's like what these kind of like natural laws, but it also encompasses like case law, what comes from when you take a case up, it goes to the trial level, the appellate level, the Supreme Court, like that becomes law as well. So common law plus like your codified statutes equal where we are right now. So there's, I think, a lot of discussion about like the Corporation of America and like your birth certificate means X, Y, and Z. I think that's a nice, great argument, but like I don't really see any merit in it. And like the people that are like, oh, Biden is the president of the corporation and Trump is the president of the country. Okay, that's great. There's 2 presidents that are fucking doing nothing right now. Like, so like that whole argument of like, I'm a natural, like we're citizens, we participate in the country. You're subject to the laws that you're here. It's going to be like that in every country until you either change the laws or you move somewhere else. So getting into that whole like corporation argument just like doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, okay. I went down that rabbit hole recently. Just trying to see if I could leave the system, leave the matrix that way. But I was like, no, I should have done law in school. Should have listened to my mama. But,
Fuck, if only, hey, if only we could leave and just like chop ourselves off of fucking society and live
Do you
freely.
plan on leaving the Matrix soon?
Well, isn't that this is what I hate, I love and hate, I guess. That like, okay, we've recognized that this is a game. All right. And now I want to leave the game. So like, what does that mean to me? Like, I'd ideally like to like have a house in Montana, maybe one on the lake, and like I kind of live off the grid and like do my own thing. But in order to leave the game, you have to reach a certain level in the game. You have to have a certain amount of money. Like, unless you have something set up where you can like go hide in the mountains for the rest of your life and then somehow make passive income that pays all your bills. You know, I recognize the Matrix for what it is, but I also have like really expensive taste at the same time. So like, let's just call a spade, you know. Do I want to like go like shit in the woods, you know, and like live off like the stream and that kind of thing? No. Would I like to have a really nice house in the woods where I still buy designer shit from time to time?
Yes.
Yeah, I would. So how do I make that happen? I got to make a shit ton of money somehow, and then I'm going to leave the game.
I'm going to say crypto. Are you into the crypto?
I am into crypto. I would love like to just leave all this shit behind and like be a day trader. I don't know how to be a day trader, but I would like to be a day trader.
Same. I'm like, I want to be a day trader and a hacker. Like,
Yeah, right. Oh my God, I always wanted to be a hacker growing up. I used to hack into my friends' like email accounts when I was younger, just like guessing that I wanted to be a hacker so bad.
Yeah, I can really get into my own email account.
I'm opening some businesses so on my own that I hope to like be successful and make me some money that I don't have to do my like 9 to 5 as much anymore.
Yeah.
I would love to monetize Maria. I don't exactly know how to do that yet, but that would be the most ideal thing.
You could totally do that.
Yeah,
Get paid for what you love doing.
Especially with a background in law, you can definitely do something for sure. Yeah. So many people are interested in what you have to say and your insight and your theories and stuff. Like, you know, you just have to run with that because you do have like a special gift, you know, you've got like gift of knowledge and like.
And you're dating, you're doing that dating app, right?
I am. It's fucking expensive. So I've had to wait till I can bring some more money in to allocate X to allocate Y. So I would love to, that's on the list for 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How exciting. I love
Too
that.
many things. Too many things.
No, it's great. I feel like if you've got lots of things on the go, it keeps things interesting. For me, I can't have just one project. Like I have to have multiple because I get bored of one and I have to jump to the next. And then I like find excitement again and like jump back to the other one. Like I've literally got like 5 things on the go right now.
That's like true Aries.
Yeah, it is. Love starting projects, not finishing them. I'm actually so surprised. So because of you, this podcast came about within 6 hours and it was the quickest I've ever started a project and finished it as well. Like, and I'm still in it, like, because obviously it's interesting enough for me.
I agree with you. I get bored easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'm just like, oh, what else can we play in the game now?
Yeah, it's almost like you clock it, like that task or whatever straight away. You're like, yeah, I'm bored.
I know. I have like all of these hobbies that are so like random. It's like they're just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like, and today I'm going to learn how to do this.
I'm the fucking same though. Like I was like, I'm going to play guitar. Got a guitar teacher, learn how to play guitar. I'm like, clocked it. Next. Like, and Mark's like, you never play your guitar anymore. I'm like, because it's like boring now. I know how to play it. It's not a challenge.
Like, how did you fall down like the rabbit hole of like researching and stuff? Like,
I was engaged in 2017. And my fiance at the time, he was dyslexic. And so he didn't read a lot, but he would watch YouTube videos all the time. And like, he would be an insomniac, just like watching stuff all night long. And he got into Q at that point and kept trying to get me into it. And I just like wasn't, I can be like oppositionally defiant for really no reason at all. So I gotta come to things on my own, if you will. But I was really into blind items back then. Like blind items were really getting popular. And I was reading about Weinstein, and it was making these Epstein connections and these like Clinton connections. And then eventually he gets me to read about Q. And it was like these two different, like the gossip kind of like 3D version of me that like to like read about shit like that and celebrities and learn their backstories, was like connecting with this like thirst for knowledge I always had. And then it's like the Q of it all. And like that's what I love about Q, kind of like you said something I think about that earlier, what it did for people. But like Q forced, like if you were in the thick of it way back then and like a new drop came out, and like this is when we all thought things were like happening in real time. And so it was like so exciting, and like you would get this drop and it like had these clues in it, and you were just like, okay, fuck, let's go. Like I'm gonna go research now. So I think that kind of what's the word, that lesson, and then being an attorney, like I'm that friend that you're like, his name was Tom, I met him at the fair for 5 minutes. Like I can find his whole life story as quickly as possible. I actually have background check software too, so like that makes it even easier now. But I always wanted to like know the weirdest stuff, and I don't know, I know how to search the depths of the internet.
Like
so it all kind of just came together in this like perfect storm of,
I feel like that's what you can sell. You can sell that online.
Absolutely.
There's your off-grid project.
right? Do one of those like 99 cents for an hour of like, let me show you how I researched the internet.
Oh, I'm like $1.99, like oh,
right,
47.
right, exactly.
A minute.
But a lot of people don't know how to get like information from the internet, like deep, good information. They only know how to scratch the surface. Do you know what I mean?
People just think it's like the first 10 things on Google.
Exactly.
You know, that there's nothing beyond that. Let's see, this is where again, like I wish I was a hacker. I wish I had like the coolest setup. Like when I watched, what's the movie after The Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, when like she had her whole like hacker setup, I was just like, this should be me. Why don't I know anything about this?
Manifest that shit, babe. That can be you. That is you.
It's actually so funny. Like my brother yesterday, as we were walking on the beach trying to figure out how we're going to get off grid, he's like, do you want to do a coding course with me? And I was like, yeah, I do. Like, let's do this. Meanwhile, I'm a baby boomer and still can't even figure out Canva.
Wait, how old are you guys?
I'm turning 40 in like 5 months. Like,
are you being for real?
I wish I was lying.
Sis, you look like you're like 22.
I feel like that aging backwards is a thing. Like people don't.
Benjamin Button, you look fantastic.
Oh, I'm like, stop, dude, stop. I'm like, watch me age backwards. Like, watch me fucking biohack my DNA.
I've known
There
Lenny
you
for a
go.
while, and she just keeps getting younger. It's crazy. Like when I met her, she was in her 30s, and I was like, fucking like, no way. And she was like, yeah, babe. And then now I know her and she's nearly 40. I'm like, she looks younger.
I would have said both of you were in your 20s for sure.
I'm 31.
Love you. How I can't remember if you said how old you were.
I'm 33.
33. Yeah. Also, we're the same. We're all the same. Well, I'm pretending I'm in the same age
You're like,
bracket.
yeah, I'm 30.
You are for sure. No, I call us children of the internet, you know?
Yeah.
Like we all grew up on the internet and connected to the internet in this like quantum way.
Well, they say that like, honestly, I genuinely believe that's how I get my downloads. Like I have like so many tabs open, and I swear that's how I get my information. And they say that the ethers is like, the internet is the ethers. Like it's the same shit.
Like,
I'm like, it is.
No, I just love it. Like, there will never be anyone like us ever again. They're like, our parents have no ability to assimilate to any sort of technology whatsoever. Like, everything is foreign to them. You have to teach things to them. Like, obviously there are some people that get it, excuse me. Then like the generation below us, they consume everything automatically. They understand it automatically. But like, we had to like see the dial-up internet. We had to go through that transition, And so I think there's something that we appreciate that those above us and those below us don't understand.
It's like a very unique, minute time in history where it was like the before and the after, basically. Yeah. I remember, like, I'm showing my age, but I remember when like there was no mobile phones and you had to like actually like pick a spot and stick to it and like the time and like no, and like I remember a life before the internet as well. Like, it's just fucking wild. Like, it's like I've actually got my computer stuck on my old Encyclopedia Britannicus, which is like my internet when I was younger. Like, read the encyclopedias. But like, yeah, it's just a fucking wild time.
Yeah. There is something to the conversation you were trying to have, though. Like, there are some people that believe that like if you fill a glass of water and you put it on top of a book and you let it set there for an amount of time and then you drink the water, that you then would know the knowledge contained within the book.
They say that water is conscious, right? So like, right. And also there's also like actual science that proves that too. Like Dr. Emoto with like his 3 like water things that had like the ones that were spoken to kindly and then the ones that were sworn at, and like it's literally like everything has consciousness.
Absolutely. I have coding on my like water machine. So like there's certain codes that like attract certain things, like obviously because numbers is fucking everything. So I've got like a masculine code and a feminine code stuck on like perfect balance. So when you drink the water, it's like the perfect like harmony of both masculine and feminine. But there's like heaps of codings, you can like put it on your water bottle or whatever. So it's like,
Do you ever make moon water?
Pardon?
Do you ever make moon water?
No, I've never made moon water.
I have once, but then I abandoned it. I forgot about it. So it's still out there. Like 18 months later. It's real magic now.
It's been through lots of full moons.
Or during a full moon, you would take like a mason jar or something and fill it with water, and then take I usually do it on a post-it note. You just like write down your intentions or what you're trying to manifest and like put that underneath and throw some crystals in there and let it charge in the moonlight, and then that's your moon water that contains those intentions.
But what do you do with it afterwards? Like,
some people
you drink it?
Like bathe with it. I drink it, so I'll drink like a little bit here and there.
It's a full moon tonight.
I was gonna say it's full moon in Pisces time, isn't it?
Yeah, Pisces, yeah. Which is a wrapping up of it all.
It's like I hate water moons. It makes me cry. It's like very uncomfortable for my
very emotional.
My air sign stellium. I'm like, how do you live like this all the time?
Pisces is my rising, so I feel quite good.
Brain. Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how you do it. It's like, I'm literally like this. Help me. I have feelings.
Yeah. No, I quite like a water moon. I don't mind it. I think, because the rising is Pisces, so I feel quite comfortable in it all. But the one thing that I like about the Pisces moon, not only is it emotional, but what it will do is bring up any hidden traumas and bring it to the surface for healing so you can move forward, because this is like a wrapping up of it all. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like a new cycle again. So
just
it's a good one.
Need more trauma to the
You're like, oh shit.
You can like dial into like high priestess as well. I always find like I get like real woo-woo on the Pisces moon. like just get your tarots out and like start doing your magic things. Call that man in.
We know what you're going to be doing later.
So have you put your mating in the matrix on hold for a minute or?
Yeah, I've been really overwhelmed lately. Bad of me. I've got some podcasts I need to edit and get out there. I'm opening up a business near me right now, and that's just been taking all of my
Time.
my
What
life
business are you
force
opening?
from me.
I'm
opening a selfie studio.
A what? Sorry.
Oh,
A
wonderful.
selfie studio. It sounds kind of funny at first.
No, I love it. I'm like so for it.
It's like a raw space that I've made into like little mini themed rooms. And like they each have like a cool neon saying in them. And you just come and I charge admission and you come take selfies.
That's amazing. That's such a great idea.
I'm like,
Thank
bitches
you,
love
thank you.
selfies.
Yeah, fuck
Bitches
yeah.
love a selfie. But
Got to get that content.
Exactly. This is in my first business, and I really want to pivot out of law and into more of like this entrepreneurial, no more 9-to-5 type thing. But I've been doing this on my own on the weekends, and it's a lot.
Yeah. I can't believe how much you do. Like, honestly, like I'm on basic survival mode and I still get nothing done. I've got like no dependents, no job. And I'm like, you've got one job today, post it, MGT post, and it still doesn't get done. Like, I'm really busy in the astral.
In the astral. I'm kind of a masochist, I think. I just want to do all the things all the time, but I'm burning the candle at both ends, which has unfortunately made the podcast suffer. But we'll be back soon.
I think that like you just have to like there's this misconception that we're always supposed to be go, 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 and like we guilt ourselves when we are not go, 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 go. And it's like, well, to be honest with you, like we missed a podcast this week and I've been like spiraling about it. And it's just like, do you know what? Surrender and flow, like divine timing, everything's fine. Like,
Oh, now you say, I literally say to her divine timing and she bites my head off. She's like, fuck your divine timing.
we oscillate between like being okay. Like we take turns with who's okay with divine timing. But it's like, I think it's like something that we had, like the Matrix has like ingrained this work hard, play hard. Like
I think religion did too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Catholic guilt for me, just I feel guilty all the time and it's so hard to break. Just like even like what my perception of working looks like, that like if I'm not working from like 8 o'clock until 6 o'clock, that I'm like doing something wrong. And then I feel guilty. And then I'm like, you're the only one that feels guilty. Like nobody else is judging you. Chill the fuck out and just like go enjoy yourself.
I think the thing that really helped me was like, you can't be your needs if you've got nothing left. Like if you're burnt out, like you're not going to produce things that are of quality. Like, so it's like actually resting gives you like more so that you can produce stuff that's like an amazing. So it's just like being okay with like that downtime.
Yeah. Do you know your design type?
No, I don't.
So there's like, dependent on your design type, like there is better ways that you can like work to be the most like successful outcome. And for me, it's like doing less, lol, which I love. So like the less I do, the more successful I am basically. So it just like really depends on like your design as well, which like obviously feeds directly into astrology. It's just like the same different languages. But if you can figure that out, you can figure out your path best to success. Like for me, I had that hustle mentality for like the last 4 years, like have my own business. And only recently have I been like, I don't want to fucking work 5 days, 9 to 5 anymore, or like 9 till fucking 8 usually. So yeah, I just started like closing down on certain days. Now I work 3 days a week, and that's like starting to phase out as well. because like once I read my design type, I was like, fucking, I'm literally going against the grain here. Like I'm trying to hustle to be successful, but my design type is to like sit back and flow and work a small amount. And that's going to bring me like great success because it's in my design. So whatever I'm meant to be doing in the like future is meant to be very flowy and very like relaxed. But even just making those small changes has just been such a huge shift because just being able to know that. So it's super fucking interesting, the design type. I did Lainey's brothers the other night and he was like, whoa, fucking hell, it's so accurate. Like
do yours after.
Yeah, we can do
Is
yours.
it a test?
No, it's not a test. It's like
it's kind of like astrology, but just like a different way of presenting. Like, you know how like every modality literally has like the same information, but it's just presented in a different language. So it's like takes into the same information into account, but it just like presents it in a different way.
Yeah. Like
but is it like based on birth date?
Yeah, birth date, time, and place as well. Yeah.
Oh yes, please do.
Yeah, and it's like your design type, and it is so interesting. So Lainey's a generator, which means she generates all the good energy, and I'm a projector, which means that I know where energy needs to go. So we're the perfect like balance to work together, and it's so weird because I'm literally surrounded by generators. Like my partner's a generator, my mum's a generator, my close friend's a generator. Like generators everywhere because like obviously I cool in that energy because then I can like direct it to where it needs to go. But I think there's like 5 different design types. What was that?
Just spin around by ourselves.
Yeah. Otherwise you're just like, and like, but it is just very accurate and is so interesting. But I'd love to read your design type once we finish up here today because it's fucking great to know. A lot of it you already instinctively know though. Like it's really weird. Like when I read people their design type, they're like, fuck, I instinctively already knew that inside of me. It's just hearing it from an external source that doesn't know them from a bar of soap. Like it just like, they're like, holy shit, that is real. Do you know what I mean?
Sometimes that validation, I think, just a little bit of that from a third party who can understand you, like in a way that you think you understand yourself. You're just like, oh wow, I really needed that.
Yeah. And everyone that I've read it to has been like, that just really solidifies like what I already know, and I'm going to actually listen to it now.
It makes you trust your own intuition a little more so that you're not like always second guessing yourself. Like I know for me, like I can think and argue every which way. So it's like just having like those moments, like confirm certain things, and then you can like fine tune your intuition.
Yeah.
I have so many ideas and all I want to do is create. So I just keep like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do this. And of course I can do that. So let me do this. And then I get to the place where I'm like, oh God, Maria, like, how did we get here? But all I want to do is like keep pushing.
I think you should just trust your what you want to do and just flow. Especially because like you have so much water as well in your chart. Like you've got water and fire, right? So it's just like you should just roll with that and like not second guess that and just do whatever the fuck you want to do when you want to do it. You need to leave that 9 to 5, girl.
See, okay, just what you guys were saying though, like I could not give a fuck about practicing law right now. Like obviously I have to care, but I could not give a fuck. And I'm making more money than I've ever made. And it's like, okay, is this because I'm disassociating with this? I don't care about this. And when you put something out there and you don't care and you disassociate, the universe gives you what you want. Or is this like the simulation working against me? That's like,
it's like your universal test.
Like keeping me down in the right. Exactly. But then I'm like, but I got to keep making money to play the game so I can leave the game. So it's just this like noose around my neck right now that I'm trying to figure out.
It just sounds like that the whole law thing, like I guess doing it for other people, like having that knowledge of law is obviously incredible, but it's just not serving you doing it as like a 9 to 5 job anymore. So obviously you've learned law for a reason that's going to feed into something else in the future for you. That's why you've got all of that knowledge. It's just that side of it's just no longer serving.
Also though, like as a fixed sign as well, like Scorpio and Aquarius are both fixed signs, so we hate fucking changing, we hate pivot, we hate change. Like we don't want to, like, even for me, like the styling thing, obviously I've been a stylist for like, well, not obviously, but I've been a stylist for like 13 years, and it's almost like I kept getting like the message that I had to like lean into like my spirituality, and I was like, no, I'm a fucking stylist. But then like they did it for me, and I've literally been locked up for like the last 2 years or like 18 months. So I've had to like I haven't had the option to style. So like I guess you've given yourself a harder test to see like whether you'll leave the lucrative on your own, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard though. Like someone actually pulled me up on it the other day. They were like, you post fashion, but then you post like all this spiritual stuff. And it's like, well, yeah, like it's something I battle with like every day. Like I love beautiful things. I'm ruled by Venus. Like give me all the beautiful things.
I just love that people think that you can't be both as well. Just like,
Right, I was about to say, why can't you just
off.
fucking exactly
you
post
know,
both of them?
yeah, exactly. Like fuck off.
It's so true. It's like we're fucking multidimensional beings. Like
Exactly.
don't fucking, like label me.
Yeah,
Right.
people love to label people. I'm like, labels are the fucking worst.
People love to label you, and then they love to create this like perfect little box that they want to put you in. Like part of me could literally not give a fuck what you think about me, and then every once in a while you catch me at a moment and I read a DM and I'm just like, why don't you like me? But
Like they accidentally
somebody,
penetrate the aura when you were
right, somebody recently was just like telling me how disappointed they were in me and how much like my content had changed and blah 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 blah. And like they were mostly talking, like they were mad I wasn't still on this like Q Trump train, I think. And I don't talk about his politics as much. And I was like, but you guys, like we lost in November and nothing happened the way that we thought it was going to be. And so like, yeah, we're all growing and changing. If you followed me in 2018 and 2019, I never spoke about the universe or synchronicity or simulation theory or any of these things. And now I am balls deep into all of this. And like, that's just where I am. And like, this is my page. You know, if you don't like it anymore, please move on. But for now, I'm going to talk about every weird thing that I see in the world.
Yeah. And I'm like so grateful for that.
Yeah.
We're so grateful for that, honestly.
It's because you've shattered the perception of that they had of you. Do you know what I mean? So like they're almost like a bit dark about it because they had this perception about you and now it's all changed and they're like, fuck, what box do I put her in now?
Right.
You're like, no, it sounds like a you
We're
problem.
all multi-dimensional beings.
Yeah.
And I think people that have not quite tapped into the other dimensions like really struggle with like us popping in and out of the 3 and the 5 whenever we fucking like.
Yes, exactly.
So true. They don't like it. They can't contain us. That's why. Can't put a leash on us.
Do you think like it's like, do you love spending time in like equally between the 3 and the 5, or do you find yourself like gravitating to like more occult things lately?
I feel I very like the law and that part of my life feels very 3D and like boxes me in a way. But I feel like it's almost just like that I'm fully my 5D self and I just have this like 3D hat that I keep having to like take on and take off. And so sometimes I feel like the 5D is like trickling in. So I'm like trying to write a brief and I'm seeing like things out of the corner of my eye and like synchronicities and like a black spot. Like I'm like, oh, is the simulation talking to me right now? So like battling those two things at the same time is so difficult. And I'm just like, God, I just want to go home and like do some mushrooms and like try to pierce the veil, you know? That's the hard line to toe.
I do think that I have like this theory that like when you are 5D, it makes you better at your 3D job though, so that you can like do all the other stuff on the side. Like,
right. It's a like a different, I think the 5D just like, it's like different brain parts of our brain are finally getting sparked a little bit. Like we're finally thinking almost on that like quantum level. So I think it helps in that way. But no, my mind is in like the proverbial gutter all the time. Just like I would love to shed the complete 3D hat and be on another fucking level. You guys, once I get rid of my real job and I just get to podcast all day, it's wild and out.
Made in Mexico or like somewhere in
Right?
South America. I'm the same. I'm like, every time they like lock us up for an extra month, I was like, oh, I should have fucking gone. Like, should have
Get out of there.
Divine
Is
timing.
that the goal? Are you in Australia as well?
Yeah.
She's in Perth and I'm in Melbourne. So like, do you know what? I reckon your man's in fucking South America.
Maybe.
He is.
Tall, dark, handsome. Sounds like that.
Could be there.
Yeah.
Well, I needed a place to go for December, so
That's it.
Christmas trip, here we go.
Yeah. New year, new man.
You mentioned the mushrooms before. Like, are you a microdoser? Like on a...
I do microdose. I don't do it regular. I don't know what it is about me, but I'm a fucking space cadet sometimes. Like I cannot do things all the time. Like taking a pill every day. Like it's so fucking simple. I say this out loud, but like I just can't do it. It just doesn't happen the way it should.
Your soul doesn't want to.
So I do microdose, and when I do it, I really like it. I need to get back on it. And then I did mushrooms for the first time ever in March of 2020. And I've done them maybe like a handful of times since then, but I haven't done a big thing in a long time.
What's been your experience on them?
Ooh, I love them. I really
Me
like acid,
too. I'm such a big mushroom person. I literally post about them all day, every day. People are like, oh, here we go. I'm like, so mushrooms.
I really like acid too, though. But man, I feel like I can peel back the layers of the simulation on acid.
Really? See, I don't fuck with, I don't fuck with drugs because I don't view mushroom as like a drug. Personally.
It's just plant medicine, right?
It's just plant medicine. I'm all about the fucking plant medicine. I don't like anything synthetic. I never have. But I've heard about fucking DMT. And I'm so curious because obviously our brain already makes it, our body already makes it. So I'm like, plant medicine.
Well, I like to watch videos on how they make DMT.
Yeah.
And all I want to do is like have a conservatory at my house and like make DMT and grow weed, grow mushrooms.
That is another
I have
this opportunity, right?
Yeah.
I know, right?
My Maria mushrooms.
A DMT cartridge. Yes, Maria's mushrooms.
Yes.
I have a DMT cartridge and I tried to do it one day, but my battery was kind of wonky and it just like didn't hit. And I was a little scared when I did it, I'll be honest. So I haven't tried. I kind of want to do like the real DMT first, you know, rather than the cartridge.
What's a DMT cartridge?
Yeah.
Like a vape pen of DMT.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You know, when you smoke those with weed, like sometimes you hit it, sometimes you don't.
Nah, I don't do the vape thingies. But I've heard about the weed vape ones. I've seen them online. They're not very big here in Australia. Like vapes are big here in Australia, but like the weed ones and stuff, like I've never seen them here. I've never seen anyone have them.
I feel like the only time I did it, I was in LA, and my boyfriend at the time was like, you know, that's weed, right? And I was like, is it? Like next minute, I was having a great time.
It's so good. Yeah, I follow quite a few pages of like just like DMT experiences and people talking about it, and it's just so fucking interesting. It's just like the intrigue is so strong, but also I'm the type of person, one of the main reasons, and I know this is like a deep thing, I don't know why, or maybe it's just my sign, but I don't like being out of control. So like even when I was drinking alcohol, like in the past, I would would never get to a stage where I'd be out of control. Like it was always there. I was never that like bad person that got out of control. And I think that's kind of like with the whole drugs as well. Like I've that fear of doing DMT because you actually have to lose control. Like it will make you lose control and take you fucking into a different fucking universe. And I think that is a really big fear there because I've never allowed myself to be out of control. So yeah, I'm in two minds about it. When you do it,
it'll find us when we're supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's very true. There's no point in forcing it. I do have a really close friend that's like, I'll do it with you. But I'm just like, fucking, what about if I die? And people are like, oh, you will die. Like,
don't.
You're definitely
fine.
No, but I mean, die in like a spiritual sense. Like you die and get reborn. And I'm like, for fuck's sake.
I was at this like festival wedding once, and it was like with all the like big DJs in the country. And I remember this one guy was like, oh, we're going to go do DMT by the river. And I was like, yes. And I was like, on my way. And my boyfriend was just like, nope. And I dragged him away. I was like, no, that was like my awakening. Sad. But yeah, I actually haven't. Just the breathwork DMT for me at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. And people will definitely argue the point you don't need anything else apart from that. Just got to keep breathing.
Do you do the breath work or anything like that?
I don't take care of my body at all. To be quite honest.
Come to mama. I will do it for I'll tell you.
I need to. That's again with like, I just don't make any time for myself. And it's even worse now with like lawyer me and then like Maria me and then entrepreneur me.
Oh, you have so many yous.
I don't have a lot of like me.
Self-care you is like begging for some time.
Yeah. I can see self-care you. I'm like, come to Mama Monique. I will show you the way.
I think like both of us are gonna like harass you to like do your breath work and like jump. Do you have access to like bodies of water in Nashville?
Mm-hmm. Like to just be by or to get in?
Like you gotta get in, babe. That's the fucking cheat code. That's like the lazy girl's guide to like everything, like exercise. Like I can't be fucked exercising most of the time, so I like jump into the ocean because it's like drainage, like everything. It's like all in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I don't fucking exercise. I literally just jump into the water and put my feet on the ground and breathe.
Well, it's like the life force things, right? It's like water, air, and like sunlight, and that's like it. That's all you need to do.
I probably need to get into some water with all the water signs in me, but
oh my God, you do.
You'll have to teach me.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, let's do like
we'll do a guide. We'll give
you all the MTT cheat codes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Thank you so much for like blowing my mind in real time. Where I get to see your face at the same time.
I know, it's so lovely.
I know.
Today was so amazing. I feel like I've got so much more information to take away now, especially like the whole like fucking mirror thing. Like maybe I'm not seeing myself as what I really look like. Like I feel that really fucking threw me.
I was like,
we gotta talk about Hall of Mirrors sometime too. I have a whole nother theory on that.
Of what?
So like sometimes I think that we live in like a hall of mirrors. And so if you think about like the double slit experiment, are you familiar with that?
No.
Okay. So in the double slit experiment in physics, they determined that a particle acts one way when it's being observed and it acts a completely different way when it's not being observed. So that lends into the
I just got goosebumps.
Kind of
means it's
the
real.
Same thing that we were talking about earlier. You know, when we're rendering something, if we're observing it, then it happens. And if we're not observing it, it doesn't happen. So in that kind of going down that theory, I have this idea that like, you know, in Harry Potter, when they have a picture, like the picture was moving and something like that. So like think of this long hall of mirrors that you have in your mind. and all these moving pictures are hung up, and like these are these memories that you have. And so when you observe the memory, time is acting one way. If you were to not observe the memory, time would be acting a whole different way. And so I think sometimes you get into this like thing where some things are like better as a memory than the way that they actually were. And so sometimes instead of just living the life that we should right now, we live in our memories, like the way we get hung up about a man or have trauma or drama in our lives. And so we go and we walk down this hall of mirrors, and we're basically like staring at this picture, this moving picture. And so in the double slit experiment, you're observing it. And so if you weren't observing it, like, would your timeline be different in that way?
Wow.
I love that.
That's like, I can't.
Woo! I really like that one.
I was like, yeah, that's fucking wild. Like, for me, I don't remember anything. It's like I blocked everything out. Like, I've like no, but again, maybe that's
some trauma too, girl.
I know. I'm like, nope, that was horrible. Erase you from you did not exist at all. But like, I wonder whether it also has to do with like, I know that you said you had like the Cancer placement. So like, is that, because like I know Cancer is like in the past, like they hold on to the past thing. And like, I'm always like in the future with being Aquarius as well. So it's like, I never like hold on to those things, but at the same time, like, would it work in the reverse with like the future timelines? So wild.
So then you even think about like the Aztecs and the people that don't believe in pictures, and they said that was like stealing part of your soul. So like, is it because it's being observed in like the double slit experiment? And if the picture wasn't taken, then would the past still be like malleable in that way?
Is that why they fuck us up with the selfies? Like, you know, how they're always like
picture phones when they first came into existence.
Oh my God, everything's just too wild. I'm like, I don't even know what to do.
I'm tapping out of the simulation. I've had enough. I'm out.
I thought I had like, well, do you know what? Like that fucking makes sense though. Where did you find this?
I know.
Oh, this is just me. This is me and my thoughts.
Yeah.
Welcome to my brain.
Yeah. It's so fun in there.
Yeah, so fun.
Honestly, like, how the fuck do you get shit done?
Very poorly. At the last possible second.
No, but like also like I feel like that's a thing, because it's like if you give yourself more time, right, you'll take more time. So you know that you're going to get it done in that amount of time. So it's like, it's all good.
I love the fucking pressure.
Same.
I fuck myself up all the time.
Yeah. It's like, I won't get it done unless it's like the last second. Like, oh,
the
shit.
most intense pressure ever. The only way I can feel something.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking
I
hell.
love it. I guess that would make
Welcome to my trauma now.
Yeah.
so good.
So good. I love that.
Oh, you are actually the best. Like, you know how like when they say like when you meet your like whoever you like fangirl, like sometimes they're not as good in like IRL, but I'm like, you're amazing. And I fucking love
Thank you.
And I hope I wasn't too like, oh my God, I love you so much. I was like trying to be cool. It's like, just be cool. Like, be a cool
No,
girl.
you're wonderful.
No, this whole thing has been fucking phenomenal. Like literally, I'm like, okay, bye now. And then you blow my mind again. I'm like, fucking hell, I've got so much shit to think about this afternoon.
Oh, no, you're amazing. And hopefully we can all like be off grid soon doing our podcasts and whatever the fuck we feel like doing.
It's already a reality. Just got to step into that timeline.
Exactly. Well, thank you guys. This was wonderful.
It was amazing. Thank you.
So
Honestly,
love
it was
you.
fucking great.
The most wonderful evening, and we'll be back harassing you about your MGT spiritual hygiene.
Yes, exactly. We're going to get you a nice little list going, and we're going to bring forth Maria's self-care. Be
Good.
Wonderful.
Definitely needed.
Get those waters flowing.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Love you.
Thank you. Love y'all.
You've been watching an MGT production.